Hey, songwriters, welcome back to At Home Songwriting. Today we're talking about what is a bridge and do you even need one? So, my name is Chad Shank. If you're new here, I'm a songwriter. I've been teaching songwriting for over 10 years. I've taught with Berklee College of Music online for almost 2 years, and I've had at home songwriting for going on 4 years. So, my goal with this channel is to help you write like a professional, even if you're sitting at home. So, first, let's rewind a little bit and talk about something we've talked about in other videos, and that is the job of a verse and a chorus. So, what the heck are the jobs of your verses and your choruses? Well, the verses job is there to really tell the story, set the scene, establish the who, the when, the where, the what is going on, what's the initial situation, what is the initial conflict. Your verse is there to set that up, and then your chorus is there to be the main thesis statement of the song, and it's the emotional center. So it's the part of the song that says, hey, here's what my song is about. This is my main point. This is what I want you to remember. This is the title. That's the job of the chorus. So what the heck is the job of a bridge? So what is a bridge? Well, a bridge is a contrasting section. And I want you to remember this word contrast because contrast means different, right? So the bridge means it's a different section. So it's something new. It's something we haven't heard yet in the song. And usually your bridge will happen after you've heard two verses and two choruses. So by the time you get to a bridge, you've heard two verses, you've heard the chorus twice. The bridge is there to contrast both of those things. You don't want your listener to get bored. You want to take them on a journey. And there's sort of this unwritten rule. I know there's no rules in songwriting, but there's this thing called the rule of two. Once you've done something twice, don't do it again until you've done something different. So that means if we've already heard the verse twice, we've already had two choruses, the listener craves something different. So the bridge becomes your B section. So think of AABA in song form. That shows up in verse refrain. So the A's are verses. So verse refrain, bridge, verse refrain, right? So the B, that's the bridge. That's the B section. It takes us somewhere new. In a verse chorus song, each A represents a set of a verse and a chorus, right? So the first A is verse chorus one. The second A is verse chorus two, and then you have the B, which is the bridge, and then after your bridge, you can either have choruses or another verse or both. But that's where the concept of a bridge comes in. A bridge is something that takes you somewhere else. So in a song, it's the part of the song that takes us somewhere else. So think of it as an actual bridge taking the listener somewhere new. So what is the function of a bridge then? Besides adding contrast, what is the bridge actually doing here? So your bridge adds variety. The bridge makes the song feel fresh by changing things up. This can be done by either switching the melody, the rhythm, the chords, the lyrics, all of the above. So the more contrast you can have, the better. And you can have some commonality between the verse and the chorus, but you want it to sound different. You want your bridge to add that variety. Also, your bridge can add a new perspective. So what do we mean by this? It can show a different side of your song's message, and it can add important details that weren't mentioned before. So if you look at a song like Taylor Swift's Back to December, her first verse talks about you, talks about the other person. Hey, how have you been? How's your family? Haven't seen you for a while. And then in her second verse, she's saying, here's what's been happening to me. I've been thinking about all these things. Here's what's going on with me. And then when we get to the bridge, she changes the perspective from the you and the me to then the perspective of us. So your bridge can have a different perspective, a different point of view that wasn't mentioned in the song before. Your bridge can also state, where do we go from here? It can summarize, kind of things you've already said, and it can take us further into the story. The bridge is really there to give your song a break. If your verses and choruses of the rest of the song are kind of long and maybe the rest of it's slow, the bridge can give that musical moment to kind of breathe before continuing with more information. So again, it's all about contrast. It's all about doing something different. Other functions, the bridge can change the mood. The bridge can make the song feel more emotional. It can create some tension, or it can give your listeners a moment to reflect. Listen to your favorite songs and try to pick what the writer was trying to give you as the listener within the bridge. Also, bridges can be a smooth transition. You know what I'm saying? So it can help lead the song into your final chorus in an interesting way. And it can sometimes add some surprise. It can build anticipation. It can sort of be a moment for us to sort of think about what's been said before. Sometimes bridges have less lyrics. Sometimes they don't have lyrics at all. Sometimes it's a solo. Sometimes it's a musical bridge. So it gives you a chance to build that anticipation or take a moment to build this energy before going into that last chorus. Also, the bridge really is a boredom breaker. By breaking up the pattern that you've already established in your verses and your choruses, the bridge keeps your listener engaged and moving through the song. Don't let them get bored. So, when do you use a bridge, and do you actually have to have a bridge? Well, the answer is you don't have to have one, but when do you want to use one? Well, you want to use a bridge to create contrast. So again, you want a bridge that breaks up that repetition of your verses and your choruses. It adds variety and keeps the song moving. Also, you want to use it to prevent boredom. So if your song starts to feel boring, a bridge might be what's needed. It introduces something new, it keeps the listener listening, and it keeps something fresh to their ears. Also, you might need a bridge just to tell us more about the story. The bridge can take the narrative of the song, put it in a new direction, and add more depth, and even add a twist to the perspective. Also, speaking of perspective, it allows you to explore the same theme from a different angle or a contrasting viewpoint. Listen to the song called Use Mine by Steve Seskin. In this song, in the first verse, Steve is talking about the relationship between himself and his father, and he as a child wanted a bike. Well, his dad didn't get him a bike, but he said, use mine. Verse 2, now it's the same character, same singer, still talking about his father, and now they're talking about a car. And in the second verse, the dad says, use mine. Well, in the bridge, Steve is a master of changing the perspective. Now in the bridge, I'm not going to give it all away, but now the use mine goes from the son's perspective to offering something to his father. So I want you to go and listen to the song and come back and put in the comments what you think about that flip. But the idea here is the bridge gives the song a new perspective, and it can give your listener that little emotional zing. And if you want to learn more about how to develop your own craft within your own songwriting, maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you feel like you wrote some songs in the past. Now you're not feeling like the muse is hitting, your inspiration isn't striking. I've got an absolutely free guide of 23 songwriting exercises that you can use to kickstart your craft. So all you have to do is go to athomesongwritingcourses.com. That's athomesongwritingcourses.com. Download a PDF. It's a free guide of 23 songwriting exercises. If you do one a day, take you 5 or 10 minutes. In 23 days, you have almost a month of writing that you've done, and it's a game changer. So go download it. So continuing on this conversation of when to use a bridge, you sometimes might need to add a missing piece. So if the song is lacking crucial information, or maybe there's some context that's missing, the bridge can really help you fill the gaps. Also, it gives you a little musical vacation. The bridge can offer a temporary shift in the melody, the harmony, or the rhythm, giving the listener a break before returning back to some familiar sections. So it gives us a little time to not hear the same thing over and over again. And again, it builds that momentum, it builds the energy, it builds up to that final chorus where it just takes us out with the song. So a well-crafted bridge can heighten the tension and make the chorus, that last chorus hit, even harder. There's some fundamentals to remember with bridges as well. So bridges are more than just filler. A bridge is not just an extra section. It can be the high point of the song. Sometimes it even has a strong feeling as powerful as the chorus. I'm sure you can think of some songs where the bridge is the climax, the bridge is the high point of the song. So it's more than just filling time, and it's more than just contrast. But the bridge must stay connected. So while the bridge adds to that contrast, there should still feel like there's part of it that goes with the rest of the song, right? So you want to have some musical or lyrical element that runs through the entire song, and it keeps everything kind of consistent or cohesive. Also, where do you usually put the bridge? So the bridge usually appears after your second chorus in a verse-chorus song, or it's after the second A section in AABA song. So there's really no rules though. So if you want to put a bridge somewhere else, you definitely can. But I would urge you to pay attention to why you're doing that and what does that do to the emotion of your song. Don't just do it to be different. That's one of the weakest reasons to do something in songs. Try to do things because it supports the emotion of what you're trying to say. And also, bridges are a purpose-driven choice. Whether to include a bridge really depends on the song's need. Does it require contrast? Does it require a new perspective? Does it need a break? You know, a bridge is a good tool to achieve that, but your song may not need it. So you have to pay attention to the emotion, pay attention to how everything is feeling. And I'll say that again, always pay attention to how things feel, because feel and trusting our ears is the key to really great songwriting. Now that we've talked about bridges, I want to tell you about how to write effective lyrics. Well, I have created a 5-week course that you can take on my website at athomesongwritingcourses.com. You can master emotional storytelling. You learn the exact techniques that pros use to craft lyrics that resonate. You can also break free from the dreaded writer's block. You can stop second guessing yourself and confidently finish your songs. And you can learn from the best. I analyze lyrics from legends like James Taylor, Jason Isbell, Taylor Swift. We look at what are they telling the listener that makes their song so captivating. And I teach you the secret on how you can do that in your own writing as well. And there's also hands-on songwriting practice. So there's 5 weeks of structured lessons, exercises, and real-world songwriting tools. So usually a course like this would cost about $1,000, but if you join today, it's $157. But if you use the code 20OFF, you get $20 off. So $137, you can get how to write effective lyrics now at my website at athomesongwritingcourses.com. So what is a bridge, and do you even need one? Well, I hope that I've been able to show you that a bridge is there to give us a new perspective. It's there to give us a new sound. It's to give us some contrast and to take our song to another level, to really build into that last chorus. So do you need it? Maybe. You have to judge for yourself within your own song. But hopefully these were some helpful tips, and definitely check out my website for more. But I've also got these other videos that can help you write like a pro at home.